Hi, welcome to my channel. It's again me, Edward. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite little cameras. This is the Olympus XZ-1, which is a very old camera. Now I actually found it here somewhere, and it was purchased back in 2011. Now this was actually released in January 2011, which is like 14 years ago. It's very old. I would use this for street photography, for taking photos of my friends, my family, just it's very enjoyable. Now this Olympus XZ-1 is it was considered a high-end camera back in the day. It's a compact camera, as you can see. It's very small, and it's a 10 megapixel CCD sensor camera. So CCD sensors are completely different from what we have right now. Most cameras right now have a CMOS sensor, which produces more sharp, I would say sharper images, and the color rendition is completely different, the saturation is different, everything is different. And I think that these CCD sensor cameras, they have a more organic, more film-like look. I think that some people won't really agree with me, but a lot of people do agree. But this is what I think, so this is my opinion. I really like using this camera especially for street photography because it's really small. You see the size, let's see, that's the size of the camera, it's really small. And I really like the fact that it has a 10 megapixel sensor, because for that time it was considered a really big one. And of course, as you can see here, f1.8. So this is the maximum aperture of the lens. Now let's take a look at the lens itself. Let's open this. So this is the lens. And this is a Zuiko lens, which is Olympus used the Zuiko lenses for their more advanced, more high-end cameras. So it's really nice having this lens on this little camera. And as I said before, the maximum aperture is 1.8 to 2.5, and the focal range is 28 millimeters to 112 millimeters, which is really versatile. You can use it to a lot of things. You can take like wider shots of buildings or landscape, and of course you can take some portraits if you want, or other things. Now personally, when I use this camera, I don't use this cap. I don't really like it. I usually use this thing, which I bought on Amazon. Now let's put it on, and let's turn it on and take a look. You see, looks really nice, and it protects your lens. So this is the screen. It's really small, and the resolution is not really high, so it's a really old camera. And of course it doesn't have a touch screen, so you would have to use this thing over here. You have like a scroller here, a controller here, so you have to use this. So this is the camera itself, and it has a built-in flash. Let's take a look at this. So this is the flash, which is, of course, I mean, it's a small camera, so the flash also is not really strong, but it gives you that 80s or 90s look, which I really like. It's really nostalgic, so if you like that, I think it's perfect. This camera is not really good for night or like low light photography, but again, it's an old camera, so the sensor is not really advanced. But I think if you take photos in the afternoon or in the morning or during the day, I think it's okay. I basically use this camera mainly for street photography because of its size. As you can see, it's really small, really nice. And I really like the look of the photos. I think it's really old style. It looks really nostalgic. It has this film-like grain sometimes, which I really like. And of course, with this camera, you can take RAW files and JPEGs, and you can take both JPEGs and RAW files at the same time. This is what I usually do. And you also have an ND filter. It's a built-in ND filter, which is very useful. And also in this camera you have two macro modes, so it's very useful if you want to take photos of flowers or little objects and you want to take like close-ups. It's really good. And what I really like about this camera is also the snappy sound of, I hope you can hear this, of the lens. It's really nice. And you have all kinds of modes here. You can have the manual, which I don't usually use here. Of course, when I use my mirrorless camera, I use usually manual, but here in this camera I usually use the P mode or the A mode, which is aperture priority. But I mean, you can use whatever you want. So I'm not going to talk too much about the specs of this camera. I think I said enough. I just wanted to share with you my experience with this camera. I really like it. I think it's amazing. It's really old, but it's still really good. It has a metal body, which is amazing. I like it. And I think that you can really enjoy having this camera, again, especially for street photography. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you some photos that I took with this camera, and we're gonna finish this video. So thank you very much for watching.